Let's bring in our panel now. We have Senator Evan Bayh, former Indiana senator and Fox News contributor. We have David Drucker from the Washington Examiner and Dan Henninger from the Wall Street Journal. Senator Bayh, let me start with you. I know that you were on 5 committees when you were in the Senate, and one of them was the Select Committee on Intelligence. When you heard the laundry list of what went on with her emails in the investigation, what was your reaction?
Well, this is ultimately going to be tried in the court of public opinion, and people will have to make their own judgments. But fortunately, in our country, making a mistake or even being, in the words of the director, careless is not a criminal act. So I trust his judgment. He's a man of solid repute, and I don't think he would go in the tank for anyone. So, look, I think she made a mistake. If she had to do it over again, she'd do it differently. Should have been done differently, period. It's up to the American people to decide now. David
Drucker, what do you think?
Well, look, I mean, I think the worst possible outcome for her was an indictment. That didn't happen. The best possible outcome was an exoneration. That clearly didn't happen. So she's got a real challenge now. This is a hit to a problem she already has, which is honest and trustworthiness. Democrats I've talked to today know this. What she has going for her is an opponent who is at least equally flawed, if not more, at this point in the campaign, and it's unclear if he'll be able to take advantage of this the same way any other Republican would have had they won the nomination.
Yeah. Dan, I mean, you look at the day today, and there she is on the side of the screen right there, standing next to the President of the United States after, you know, she's been cleared, more or less. I mean, he talked about all the things that she did, but then ended the speech saying that they were not going to recommend indictment because they didn't think prosecutors, you know, would be able to win the case. It seems like a spike the football day for Hillary Clinton.
Yeah, I guess so, Melissa. I mean, are we sure Barack Obama isn't running for president again? Because he certainly sounded like he's running for president. And in a way, he is. He's running for a 3rd term in the person of Hillary Clinton. So he's going to be out there campaigning for the next 5 months on her behalf. But just to think of some of the things that James Comey said, that her servers were not as secure as a Gmail system. Also that she had used this system while she was in the countries of sophisticated adversaries. If you were a trainee for an investment bank and you were using your Gmail to express and exchange information about your company, you would be shown to the sidewalk immediately. And I think Donald Trump had a good point. Anybody who did these things should never be allowed to handle classified information again. It would happen to any other person, but she's running for the presidency.
Senator Bayh, I mean, he did say that this doesn't mean it wouldn't be different in other circumstances, but, you know, it has to do with the nature of this particular case and who's involved.
Well, context is everything. And again, she made a mistake. She's admitted that. There was no criminal intent, as you've observed previously. And so now it's for the American public to decide. I think at the end of the day, today's developments will encourage her supporters. There was no indictment. It won't affect her detractors. They'll still be equally unhappy. And for that 4 to 5 to 6% of the American public that will determine the outcome of the election, they're going to be focused on middle-class economic issues. Job creation, wage growth, college affordability, those kind of things. So I think this, by then, I think this will be really a non-issue.
You know, I mean, that's the last point is a very interesting one because, David, I'll ask you. At the beginning of this speech right here, Hillary Clinton stood up and she listed the 5 things that she wants to do when she becomes president. And the first thing she said is that she wants to raise the minimum wage to give the middle class a raise. I mean, if $15 an hour is the new middle class, we have some serious problems. I mean, there are wage problems in this country, and that's literally what she said. I went back and checked. She's reading off a prompter. I mean, I don't know. That must be what she meant.
Well, no, and look, it's in the Democratic Party's platform. This is an area where she was moved to the left by Bernie Sanders in her primary. But look, this election, and I think Senator Bayh sort of spoke to this, is really going to be, in large part, a base election. And it's going to be who can really get out their base. And I remember 4 years ago when the president said things like the private sector's doing fine, and you didn't build that, and a whole bunch of other things that Republicans thought, how can he say this and win independence and therefore win a 2nd term? Well, guess what? He did, and it worked. And I think that when you look at the demographics of this election, Hillary Clinton could still lose. This election is very competitive at this point if you look at the data. But the demographics are with the Democratic Party. And so if Hillary Clinton can weather today's storm going forward, and it's an issue of base versus base, especially where Republicans are still wary about Trump, then she's in a good position.
Dan, real quick, is $15 an hour the minimum wage? Is that the new middle class?
Well, the middle class out there is upset right now, Melissa, and one of the central issues in this election is cynicism that Washington plays by a different set of rules than everyone else, whether you're supporting Bernie Sanders or Donald Trump. And today's events only give people more reason to believe that.
All right, panel, thank you so much.